This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by the North Law Firm. For car accidents and negligent security cases, call Joe at 239-337-1191. By Crime Stoppers of Southwest Florida. Report crimes and get paid with nobody knowing your identity. 1-800-700-TIPS. And by Lee Health. Welcome back, Southwest Florida, to the award-winning Lee Pitts Live. I am so happy to bump this gentleman in. He's everywhere. You see it. Joseph Cofield, the president of Constitution for the People.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
By the people and of the people.
Thank you,
I tell you, man, I see you everywhere. You're out there preaching the gospel about the Constitution of these United States of America. Tell me, how did you first, just a short version of how you first got into the movement?
Well, Lee, actually, to give you the shortest version possible, after 21 years in the military, 15 years teaching, I was blessed to have an opportunity to get a fellowship, which means that I got an opportunity to get my second master's degree in the area of history, but specifically the Constitution.
I see. What about the Constitution is so attractive to you that you just seem so passionate about it? It's like you eat, sleep, and breathe Constitution.
It seems to be that way, Lee. Actually, my wife says that at the middle of the night, I'm up talking about the Constitution. But it's because I have come to realize that the Constitution touches the lives of every single citizen. And when you get to know this Constitution, you get to understand what makes this country tick, and you also understand what makes us all unique and make us citizens and Americans. And so I think the more we learn about it, the more we realize what we got in common.
So when you're reading the news and hearing the news, and you know certain things that are going to be controlled by the founding fathers and how the Constitution was laid out, it makes it even more interesting to you because you understand all the laws and amendments as it associated with the Constitution.
Absolutely, sir.
Elaborate on that.
And what I mean is, it doesn't matter what radio station or television station you go, whether it's CNN, Fox, or NPR, when you follow it, it has the current event that's happening right in our lives. And you flip the pages in the Constitution, you see how it applies to every day of our lives. Mm-hmm. And what makes me upset, Lee, is the fact when I hear people say something that's incorrect, I go back to the Constitution and I go and mark it and I go and send it to that person so they'll know that, you need to read it so you don't make the same mistake, because the citizens are beginning to read this Constitution and they're going to hold you accountable for it.
You're constantly walking around with a Constitution on you. Do you have one on you right now?
Hey,
you had that little book like you gave me before?
Lee, in respect to you, because I didn't want to get your table with all my Constitution thing. This is the very first time that I haven't been able to reach in my pocket and grab a Constitution.
I know. I saw you over there reading those Constitutions. You have Constitution that you provide to students all around the state of Florida. Is that your main market?
Yes. Lee, what I decided to do, I developed a Constitution booklet that was a little bit bigger than the one that you see. Is it
on that table right there?
Yes, it is.
John, while we're talking, work your way over to that table and bring me a Constitution. Let's go.
And the reason why, Lee, is
doing it live.
The reason why I wanted to be able to have a booklet that the teacher could use in the classroom, that the kids could be big enough that they'll be proud to carry with them, and also that parents could be able to use that booklet. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about it, Lee, is that
John, you just take this shot. Come on.
Is that the kids will be able to take that book, and one day they will be proud to pass this book up. Not that the book.
It's a book over there as well.
Yes. Look at and the kids will be proud to take that book with them and hand it off to their child one day.
Okay. When one is picking up the Constitution, what's some key things they should focus in on?
Lee, there's 27 amendments to the Constitution. But what we should realize, even before you get to the 27 amendments to the Constitution, there are 7 articles that apply to us. And the first 3 articles, it gives the definition for what the Congress is supposed to be doing, what the president's supposed to be doing, and what the Supreme Court's supposed to be doing. So if you can master those three articles, you'll be able to understand why it's important that we have a check and balance system, and why each body is so important. And Lee, I hate to say this today, because a lot of reason why we're having a lot of problems is because the branches of service are not doing what they're really supposed to do, and they're invading on each other's territory. When the founding fathers said a check and balance system, they put that for a purpose, and the purpose was because they didn't want one branch of government to become too powerful, and when they become too powerful, the citizen loses in the end.
And we're experiencing that right now in the Congress and the White House. But and we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how strong that Constitution is. Whenever I hear conversations centered around the Constitution, the founding fathers, and how they laid it out, I find it to be fascinating that so far back in history, when they were putting this together, some of these things that were put in place still, even to this day, it's just like, how could they? I know they couldn't foresee the future to that degree, but the fundamentals of it still hold strong.
It does. And in the case in point, Lee, and I know you and I are both African Americans, and a lots of time that people say, well,
you serious, man? I'm an African American.
Well,
I didn't know I was African American.
They get it wrong. See, just to digress just a little bit, there's going to be one day, Lee, that we're going to be all called Americans, and not just African American, Indian American, all those type of things. We're going to be called Americans just like those Europeans and those Frenchmans and those Spaniards. But we ain't to that point yet. But my point is that because of the fact that they didn't get it right in 1787, if you look at the Constitution as it evolved, when we had that great Civil War, my forefathers began to get certain rights. And not only did, by us getting certain rights, the women's got more rights. Not only did the women's get more rights, but the people that didn't have land, now they get more rights. So everybody wins in the end. And when you look at the Constitution, but it just goes to show you how bright those founding fathers were. They couldn't do it all in 1787. But what they did was they had enough vision that if you do this thing right, all the people would survive under this system we call the United States Constitution.
And when the Constitution was written, the original document, you only had white males in the room.
That's right. That's exactly correct.
And being able to amend the Constitution throughout time has made it more accommodating for a more wide variety of people.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about it. But if you look at it, there's only 27 amendments that have been installed in this 21st century. So that tells you that these guys must have did something right, because otherwise you're going to be changing every day.
Right. Your efforts, you've set some goals to get constitutions in so many students' hands or something like that. Tell us where you are. Give us a little background on that.
Well, Lee, in March of 2014, I decided that we weren't doing enough. So because this is a short segment, I'm going to go back just a few years to let you know why I really got involved with this thing. Because in 2007, Charlie Crist signed a bill that says we're going to do a lot about civic education. And from 2007 to 2014, I didn't think we had made enough progress. And I said the reason why we hadn't made that progress is because we hadn't been committed to making a foundation, getting our kids a foundation by which they can go from elementary to middle school to high school and be able to keep building on that. So I said, instead of just going for a test that they can pass, why don't we have a real solid foundation, so when these kids take this knowledge and continue to build, and then finally we will get great statesmen that can run our country the way it's supposed to be.
Where are we in terms of your goals?
Lee, I'm happy to state that on this day,
breaking news. Come on.
On this day, this is breaking news here, because in March 2014, I only got about 20. I didn't even get I only got about 5 states, counties that came aboard. And these people said, Joseph, you need to stop that nonsense. And then Lee, I took a trip around the entire state of Florida, 67 counties. And what I did in those 67 counties, I touched each of the 67 school districts, but more importantly, I got out and engaged with the parents and with the residents of those 67 counties. And that's what made me decide, Lee.
What's the breaking news, Joseph?
The breaking news is that, and last year I got 90% of the counties, and this year, Lee, I finally got 100%. 100%, Lee.
Breaking news.
Because we decided we were not going to stop until we have every county.
When you say have the county,
Yes.
What does that mean? Meaning that you got that school district to do something?
Yes, what I have successfully done, have got every one of those school districts cooperating to say that we're going to put those Constitution booklets into the hands of those 5th grade students, or in some cases the 7th grade students, so that they can take those booklets with them and go to their next grade level and continue to build upon their success.
Where do the books come from?
Well, Lee, that's a little complex because
I mean, it's a nice book. It's even look even more impressive than the last time you were on my show about 5 years, maybe 6, 7 years ago. You've done some things with it, man.
Absolutely, this book has evolved, and that book has been kept to a price of $1. That's a $5 book normally, but what I have been successfully have done has been able to market this book for $1, whereby I have support of non-profit organizations. The community foundations have come to support me. The Rotary clubs, the Kiwanis clubs, the Daughters of American Revolution, they have come in and filled the pocket where the school district could not. And that's why we was able to get those booklets across. And of course, Lee, I'd be redundant if I didn't mention the individuals that go to the website and go and designate money.
Okay, we have your website appearing on screen, but go ahead and give that website anyway.
www.constitutionproject.us.
Okay.
You can always go there, push the little button that says donate, and you can help me get those 220,000 5th graders every year their booklets.
When the students get the booklets, or anybody for that matter, and read it, what do you hope that will do in terms of civic responsibility and just knowledge of how this country works?
What I hope will happen, Lee, is when they get their booklet in their hand and they read that first page, they keep reading. And then when they finish, they'll be able to say, you know what, I can be a mayor, I can be a president, I can be a congressman, I can be a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And Lee, if you open that booklet, you will see in the front page, the kid had the ability to put their name in this booklet, and they know that this booklet is theirs.
Right.
And it becomes important to them.
This booklet, it has, in holding it and looking through it, it doesn't seem like, when I think about the Constitution, that's a lot to read. It really doesn't seem like there's that much to read if you just kind of break it up in pieces and just work your way through it, and you'll be a better person for it. I'm assuming you're going to let me keep this. I'm going to read this Constitution.
Sir. And Lee, that is what makes this book so special, because when the kids get these textbooks, it becomes overwhelming to them, and you think they can absorb all this information. When they get this little booklet in their hand and they go through the entire Constitution, and then they go through the entire Declaration of Independence, they feel powerful. And then when they get to high school, you know what happens, Lee? They take those honor classes, they take those AP classes, they take those dual enrollment classes. And when they get to college, they push those professors to do wonderful things so they can go out and become diplomats, so they can become congressmen, so that they can run our society.
Reading the Constitution, looking back, I remember we had in civics, I don't recall having to read the Constitution. I don't recall. That doesn't mean it wasn't a part of the curriculum when I was in 6th, 7th grade or what have we. But now looking back, I wish I had to read the Constitution then, and have that in my little hip pocket.
Right. Well, Lee, I got to give a plug to my adopted, my birth state of North Carolina. It was required that we learn state government, federal government, and that little booklet was given to me when I went through school. So it's almost like now that I'm an adult, I'm giving back to those older people, those older teachers that done something great for me. And so now, Lee, the second breaking news is now that I got all of Florida, I'm going to go out and try to do the same to the rest of those 49 states that we have.
Man.
And I'm going to go back to North Carolina, and I'm going to say, North Carolina, you know what you're giving me now, I'm going to return back.
Yeah, you really got something in front of you, and you're so enthusiastic and excited about what you do. What is Constitution for the People?
Constitution for the people, it means we are all included. I was looking for a buzzwords. I was looking for something that people would catch. When I say Constitution Project, people say, oh, that means. But when I say Constitution for the people, it means that every single person that I come in contact with, they know that this Constitution is for them. And when
But it's a nonprofit as well, right?
oh yes, oh Lee,
And you got other people who are part of it.
yes.
Go.
Lee, what I figured out was that I could not do it as an individual because people say, oh, Joseph must be doing something else with the money. I said, you know what, all that money, all my wife's money and my money went into these booklets. And I became a nonprofit one day in June. I'll always remember this day, June the 5th, 2018, and my whole world changed. Because at that time, I could go to the community foundation, write my grant, and tell these people, now give me some money so I can help get these booklets into the to those 67 counties. And that is one of the key, Lee, why we now have 100% of our mission accomplished.
In the state of Florida.
In the state of Florida. And Lee, just the other, breaking news number 3, there's a guy sitting in Cocoa Beach that wants now to do the same thing in Virginia. And I said, you know what, as soon as I leave Lee Pitt Live, I'm going to come to Cocoa Beach, teach you how to do it, and then I'm coming to Virginia in September, and you can do the same thing that we have accomplished here in Florida.
And people are sitting there now at home saying, for Joseph to have to do this shouldn't be necessary. The schools themselves should have done this on their own as a part of the normal education process, but that's not necessarily the case?
That's not necessarily the case. And Lee, not to beat up the school system, because I'm going to have the Commissioner of Education at my table, Constitution for the People, in August the 5th in Orlando, and I'm going to present that same question to him and say, we can put all this emphasis on STEM and STEAM, we can put the same emphasis back to the social sciences where it's supposed to be. And just a plug for Florida Gulf Coast University, they brought Governor Bill Richardson here, and one of the things I remember him saying was that the Constitution was important. The social science needs to be just as important as everything else, because when we go and deal with these foreign governments, we have to know what our country is all about. We can't negotiate from strength that we don't understand. And I had an opportunity to talk with him and give him one of my pens. And guess what he said, Lee? He says, that mission you're doing is very important. That means a lot for me, coming away from one of the great diplomats and one of the great negotiators. And when you think about somebody that went to North Korea and bought back our citizens, and he says that our Constitution, our mission is important, that makes me so excited.
Final question.
Yes, sir.
What you do, does it have any type of political affiliation?
No, Lee, and I'm glad you asked that question, because I think one of the keys to my success is that we are nonpartisan. When I go around and say, my concern is that everyone learn and master the Constitution. Then you go out and you vote for that person you think is going to lead our nation, that person that have your values, your system. But understand that if you know what that person is supposed to be doing, you can hold them accountable. I don't tell you who to vote for, but I do tell you that you need to vote, because that's one of your rights that's given to you as a citizen.
Well, Joseph, we're blessed to have a person like you in the community. Certainly blessed in the whole state of Florida. You happen to live here in the Southwest Florida area, and you're making us proud with your efforts. Keep up the good work, and we're just proud to have had you on the show.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, stay right there. As the saying goes on this particular show, but those who say it can't be done, and it really means it in this case, they're usually interrupted by those like Joseph and all the people who are associated with Constitution for the People who are doing it. We'll see you next week on Lee Pitts Live.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello, everybody. This is Lee Pitts, the host of the award-winning Lee Pitts Live here on Fox 4. We appreciate you watching our show here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, clicking below. Let everybody else know that they can subscribe as well. Also, when we're on the air on Fox 4, you can also catch us streaming live at 8:30 a.m. in the morning on fox4now.com. Just click on live, and you get us all types of ways at your convenience. That's Lee Pitts Live.